Hey everyone, it's Alan here with I Dream of Indie, making my way back after a post-Thanksgiving food coma, and I have one question for you. What's poppin'? So today we're going to take a look at In Celebration of Violence, a minimalist roguelike adventure available on Steam, and the version I played for the review today, the Switch. Developed and published by Julian Edison and Dolores Entertainment, this former Steam title looks to make the jump to the Switch and stand among the pillars of the genre. How did this game hold up? Well, let's take a look. Alright, regardless of my thoughts on this title, let me just say that making a game and getting it published is a huge feat for a small team of people, never mind just one person. So Julian deserves to be praised for the effort put in here. Having said that, I hated this game. The game didn't do anything inherently poorly, it just didn't execute any of the conceivable levels of roguelike gameplay well. Let's start with the gameplay here. I will praise the one aspect that I thought was great, and that's the permanent upgrade system that's available upon the start of each round. So each time you die, you're allocated an amount of experience to retain based on the items collected and the overall devastation you made during your run. When you die, you have a percentage counter detailing how much violence you committed. So the higher that percentage is, the more experience you can carry over. So then you can take this experience and spend it on various upgrades for your character to increase their various stats for each subsequent run. The beautiful thing here is that every upgrade you purchase carries over run after run, making your character slightly better and pushing that carnage just a bit further. You start every round with a wooden sword and pitchfork, and regardless of the weapon you use, combat is an intentionally sluggish experience. Your attacks are slow and wide, and oftentimes not feeling like they're connecting at all, which in turn leaves you constantly wide open to counterattack. You control similar to a twin-stick shooter where you use one joystick to move and the other to aim. However, the intentional design choice to make a stamina-based attack system with a bit of a staggering mechanic leads to some incredibly frustrating moments, especially against what would be simple fodder such as bats and blobs. Now, this is something you can adapt to some degree. However, there's no compensating for the fact that enemies and objects get lost in what feels like an eye-bleedingly poor fidelity pixel art presentation. The entire game relies upon an 8-bit aesthetic. Yeah, I know, there's so many of these with that aesthetic on the Switch. The problem here is that the title suffers from the same problems that I had with Hammerwatch, tiny low-resolution pixels on a zoomed-out overworld. I constantly ran into issues with enemies either blending into the overworld or just not being different from any other random pixel on the screen. Nothing really stood out. The thing here is that in order for the 8-bit aesthetic to truly work in a roguelike, you either have to have the zoom in the screen to accommodate for the lower fidelity sprite work, or you need to use a higher quality pixel art style for the characters, enemies, items, and NPCs. I found myself dying over and over simply from not being able to differentiate between an enemy, an item, or background object. This game is just at its core ugly. And while I understand that this was made by one individual and they did a great job with what they had to work with, the combination of sluggish combat and low resolution pixels all over the screen just made this an absolute chore to trudge through. I will give this game credit where credit is due, and the sound design fit the fantasy roguelike setting incredibly well. There were plenty of sound effects to match the action, and the grunts and slowdown on critical hits made getting those kills a ton of fun. The music, while not winning any OST of the Year awards, fit the atmosphere incredibly well and did not distract or take away. I will say that there were moments where I had fun with this title, and I really wanted to like this game. However, the lackluster visuals paired with the sluggish combat kept me from enjoying this. There is no explanation as to what the various items are that you pick up or what they do, nor is there any story involved. There is some fun to be had here, though, as I enjoyed being a murder hobo and slowly growing stronger from each death. I just didn't find enough here to justify the time investment, especially when there are far superior alternatives in the genre available on both Steam and the Switch. Sitting at $8 on Steam and $13 on the Switch, the price point is reasonable, and while this title was not my cup of tea, if you found the visual aesthetic palatable and enjoy artificially induced difficulty, then this game may be up your alley. If I'm honest though, at around the same price range on the Switch, I would suggest picking up the previously reviewed Crown Trick over this one. I think Julian did a great job for their initial outing, and from what I've seen of their most recent work, many of my complaints with this title have been addressed. I do look forward to seeing what else comes our way from Julian in the future, and as always, this has been Alan saying sayonara, and I'll see ya when I see ya. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Alan. I want to thank you again for tuning in to another one of my videos. You can help support I Dream of Indie's mission statement to bring a voice to the voiceless in gaming by subscribing to the channel, hitting that bell icon, consider becoming a member, and if nothing else, check out another one of our videos.